Councilman, y'all good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The time is 6:35 p.m. and I call this special meeting of the Red Oak City Council to order. Let it be known that we do have a quorum present with all council members in attendance. This notice has been duly posted in accordance to Texas Government Code Section 551, and we're here to conduct business of the city. But before we get started, is there anything that we need to discuss in executive session before?
Not necessarily before.
Okay. We can proceed.
We can proceed.
Okay. Item 1. Still good? All right. Item 1, consider adoption of resolution number 23-007R, approving a grant agreement by and between the City of Red Oak, Texas, and the City of Red Oak Industrial Development Corporation, approving an expenditure by the CRO IDC in the amount not to exceed $2,500,000, authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city and providing an effective date.
Okay, so number 1 is actually related to number 2, so I'll speak a little bit about both of them. So number 2 is actually the bid, awarding the bid and the contracts to do the ground storage tanks and pump improvements, well site improvements over on Methodist Street. As you recall, we had the ARPA funds, I think it was $3.7 million budgeted to do those improvements with, and that at the time was a good estimate. It's no longer a good estimate. We had a bid opening 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it came back at $5.4 million. We only had one bidder that actually bid on it. So staff and Kimley Horn put together a second bid negotiations, and we had 2 bids come in this time, and it went up $100,000. So I guess at least it looks like that's the right bid in that range, but we don't have enough money. So we have asked IDC, which is back to agenda item number 1, to help fund and offset the overage on that budget amount, which they have very generously agreed to do so. And at the prior meeting tonight. So they have agreed to fund the $2.5 million that went over the budget. And the reason that they are involved in this, because typically those tank improvements are for system-wide, it's for our entire water system, but we have to have those improvements in place for Google to continue to stay on schedule with their development so that we're able to turn the tap whenever they're ready to go. So that's their incentive, is to keep the industrial project moving along. So staff recommends approval of accepting the grant from IDC to pay for the offsetting costs of that budget.
Okay, very good. Council, any questions?
No questions. No discussion.
All right, entertain the motion to approve resolution number 23-007R. So moved. Councilman Franklin, Councilman Lightfoot. Those in favor? Franklin, aye.
Aye. Drake, aye. Lightfoot, aye. Smith, aye.
All right, that passes 5-0. Item 2, consider adoption of resolution number 23-008R, the City Council of the City of Red Oak, Texas, awarding a bid to and authorizing execution of a contract with DN Tanks LLC for the Methodist station ground storage booster pump and chloramine boosting system improvements project, authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the appropriate and necessary documents and providing an effective date.
The original bidder, or was it two follow-up bidders?
This is one of the two follow-up bidders, because we didn't end up moving forward with the first bid. I don't know, it may end up being some of the same subs, I don't know. But the overall bid is a different bidder. Scott and Jared are here if you have any further questions.
Questions, we got three bids, roughly the same amount, just a different time.
Okay? Any questions? All right, entertain a motion to approve resolution number 23-008R.
Second.
Okay, I'm not sure who that was. Okay, Goodwin. Second was Smith. Okay. Those in favor?
Franklin, aye.
Aye.
Drake, aye.
Last aye.
Smith, aye.
That's 5-0. Mr. Williams, you want to say anything? After the fact?
Nope.
I think we're good there.
All right, thank you.
Before supper, it's quick.
All right. Consider adoption of resolution number 23-009R of the City Council of City of Red Oak, Texas, accepting and approving the project order 06449256 with Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. As part of the master agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. and the City of Red Oak, Texas, in accordance with the terms of the master agreement for continuing professional services dated December 20, 2011, for the preparation and construction of plans and specifications and construction of administrative services and construction administrative services for the Pierce Street 10-inch sanitary sewer project, and authorizing the city manager to execute a contract in a form approved by the city attorney and providing an effective date. Yep.
So basically, this is 2,750 linear feet of sewer line that extends from the intersection near Lawrence and Pierce, down Pierce under 342, south down 342 under the Whataburger parking lot, and ends at Main Street and at that new Main Street intersection. The existing sewer line is 6-inch, and it's old, it's not in good shape, and it actually is pretty choked down in a lot of places, and is a continual maintenance item for our staff. This would involve increasing that sewer line from a 6-inch to a 10-inch in accordance with our master plan, and allows for continued development along 342, release my staff from a lot of maintenance activities along that existing sewer line. And, overall will provide, increased flow and growth to that area, both for residential development looking there and commercial development along 342.
How far down Pierce will it go?
It'll just end at Pierce and Lawrence. Just shy of there. So it's just where the existing line is. It's not going to extend it in length, just increase it in size.
Are we gonna be going down Pierce with sewer anytime soon?
No, this is the old Pierce.
Yeah, I know that,
South
but,
West Street, yeah.
Things change in the
Mhm.
future, and it's wondering, go down the thing, you got a bunch of houses, something come in there, you may need bigger line. I don't know anything about sewers. Just a consideration.
I think for this particular land, we're okay. I think if we're talking about stuff further out, we're going a different route.
All right.
And
It's
this
all
land
downhill
is-
though, right?
It's all downhill. And I thought you actually knew more about sewer than.
No, I'm
than
not
that.
a sewer rat. I don't know anything about that.
I will tell you that this line has been a problem since way back in '04, that we've had problems with this land, so it's time to get it done if we can.
Any other questions, council?
Yeah, one question. How often are these sewer lines maintained?
I'm sorry.
How often are these sewer lines maintained?
We, On a regular basis, we have, our SSOI agreement with TCEQ, and we clean and camera 25% of the sewer system annually. But problem areas like this probably get maintained at least on a monthly basis, and then of course, any problems come up, we would do further maintenance. When we use the big old combo truck that y'all seen rolling around, that's a 3/4 inch injector that'll put 47 gallons a minute at 4,000 PSI through the line and get them nice and clean.
Will you
But,
take up the old line?
I'm sorry?
Take up the old line?
So we're actually looking at a couple of different, possible solutions for this. Some of it, we're looking at open trenching. So when it's just field, manhole, right, we can just dig it up and trench it. Then under 342, we will have to bore it, because I don't think Texas will let us just open trench the highway. But there's also another solution, pipe bursting. They essentially run a cable through the existing line, with a metal chisel on it. And then they pull behind it a polyethylene sewer pipe, that you can increase in size. So it'll break the old stuff apart, pull the new line behind it, and then they would dig up each tap and re-tap it. It can be pretty cost effective. The problem is, we all know Red Oak, you dig down a foot and you're in solid rock. And pipe bursting, when we go from a 6 to an 8, yeah, it's pretty easy, but when you're going from a 6 to a 10 and rock, that can be challenging. So that may not be a viable solution for us, which is why we're first looking at the open trench and boring, and then maybe cost savings in pipe bursting.
This will cut back on the maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance and issues, we actually have, probably monthly, we will go out at the intersection, of Pierce and 342 on the Pierce side in that manhole there. So the section of sewer, running under 342 there is a 6-inch, but it's actually choked down to a diameter about that big, and I know it's that big, 'cause that's how big our jetter nozzle is. And it's so scaled and so built up that, it's not gonna get any better.
Look for people up the new line, or they gonna have to pay for it?
No, it'll all be covered under this, and this is actually, funded by the, impact fees.
For water, wastewater impact.
Yes.
And tonight, we're just, coming to council for approval for the engineering for this project.
Right.
So, at a later date, once the engineering's done, we'll, look at how much it's gonna cost. We have an idea now, but it may be more than we have in budget, so we may have a new conversation, but,
IDC's got a big one.
Yeah, you is smart, we get more of it.
All right, any other questions? Okay, entertain a motion to approve resolution 23-009R.
So moved. Second.
Councilman,
Franklin.
I'm sorry, and Lightfoot. Second was Lightfoot, those in favor?
Franklin, aye.
Aye.
Drake, aye.
Like that.
Smith, aye.
That passes 5-0. Item 4, consider approval of ordinance number 23-002, the city of Red Oak, Texas, amending ordinance number 22-032, amending the fiscal year 2023 official budget, appropriating funds to increase revenues and expenditures within the water and sewer fund as attached in Exhibit A, provided that expenditures for said fiscal year can be made in accordance with said amended budget, providing a severability clause and providing an effective date. What?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Again, this is to approve an ordinance to amend the adopted budget. And this is really a housekeeping item that is related to the already approved items 1 and 2 on the agenda. Item 1 provided the revenue as a transfer in from the IDC fund. And then item 2, council approved the bid for the Methodist pump station improvements, requiring additional expenditures in the budget. And this is basically the housekeeping to make all that happen in our budget. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Council, any other questions?
No question.
Nope, thanks.
This is not increasing fees or anything, right?
No, I just wondered, because it says increased revenues and all that, we're not changing the cost.
No, the revenues are coming from the $2.5 million
Right.
that IDC just gave.
I was just making sure we're not
Right.
raising the rates on the water and sewer.
No, okay.
You good? All right. Entertain the motion to approve 23-002.
So moved.
Franklin? Councilman Drake? Those in favor? Franklin, aye.
Aye. Break our, Lightfoot, aye.
Smith, aye.
That passes 5-0. Any other things before we need to go into closed session? Okay. The time is 6:50, and we will go into closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.087, 551.072. And that time is 7:50, and who needs to come in with us?
Lee.
And, Ms. McCleary, if you'll come in with us, that'd be great. And Bob, gonna get Bob,
We don't need,
we don't need Bob.
we don't need Bob, I mean, he's on here,
Okay.
if you have something, but.
I am on here, and thank you. Have a wonderful evening. If you need me, call me.
Okay, thank
I think
you,
we're good.
thank you,
Thanks,
Leo.
Bob. And I don't expect we'll have any.
Okay, we don't expect any action coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Watching my view.
Okay. Your time is, 7:15, and we will reconvene into open session. Is there any, actions that need to be taken?
No, sir.
All right. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion at 7:15 and a half, 6:16 to adjourn. Councilman Goodwin, Councilman Smith, those in favor?
Aye. Great guy.
Aye.
Smith, aye.
All right, that's 7:16.